Hi everyone, in this video we're going to introduce to you the full range of different base materials that we use to make hair systems at newtimeshair. We're going to start by introducing French lace. And as you can see from the sample we have here as well as the base, French lace is very light, natural, breathable. And you can see the front of the base here. And this is where we would usually put single split knots because those knots are very small, so it's better for a more natural look. The rest of the base, we would use double split knots because they are bigger, they're stronger, and it will increase the lifespan of the whole hair system. In terms of what kind of density French lace can support, well, the maximum it can hold would be medium heavy, which you can see here is a sample of medium heavy density hair. And then we also have Swiss lace, which you can see here in the sample, as well as in the front section of this base. Swiss lace is very fine, very natural, but also very fragile. So it has a tendency to tear easily. In terms of knots, we can only use single split knots. We cannot use double split knots or double flat knots because if we did, the base would break. It's just not strong enough to support that kind of knot. As a result, and something that your clients need to be aware of, you're not going to be able to get any more than 4 weeks out of a Swiss lace hair system. Regarding hair density, the maximum that Swiss lace can support is medium light. And you can see a medium light density sample here. So let's compare the two types of lace side by side. In my left hand, I have French lace, and in my right, Swiss lace. And you can see that Swiss lace is that much finer, that much thinner, that much more natural, but also more fragile than French lace. Next, we're going to introduce two mono laces to you. And we can look at one here, fine welded mono in my right hand, and if you compare it to French lace, you can see that it is a little bit thicker and stronger. Okay, let's look at fine welded mono in a bit more detail. So you can see that fine welded mono is fine, it's natural, but it's also thicker and therefore more durable than French lace. We still use single split knots across the front for more of a realistic effect, and over the rest of the base we use double split knots. Since it's more durable, fine welded mono can support a heavier density. And it could support up to an extra heavy hair density, which you could see here. Now let's talk about superfine welded mono. So again, it's fine, it's natural. It's actually thicker than French lace, but thinner than fine welded mono. Again, we would just use single split knots across the front, double split knots elsewhere. And as for density, superfine welded mono can support a medium heavy hair density. And if we're comparing fine welded mono and superfine welded mono with each other, then we can see that superfine welded mono is thinner, but it's not as strong as fine welded mono. Thinner, more natural, but not as strong or as durable. Next, we're going to talk about fine mono. Mono is woven more tightly than lace, which makes it stronger and therefore more durable. You can see an example of fine mono here. It's strong, it's durable. We can use double split knots all over it. We can't, however, use fine mono at the edge of a base. We need to use another material to seal it. As for hair density, we can use extra heavy with fine mono. Then we have superfine mono. Superfine mono is softer, finer, smoother than fine mono. Like fine mono, we can't use it at the edge of a hair system. We would need to seal it with something like skin or ribbon. Across the front, we use single split knots. The rest of the base, we would use double split knots. If we use double split knots, then the knots will be too big and they'll actually stick out on the underside and rub against the head. And superfine mono can support medium hair density. And if we compare fine mono and superfine mono together, you can see that superfine mono is thinner, softer. But there's something that you need to be aware of with both, well, with all kinds of mono, is that because of the way they are woven, you need to pay particular attention when you are cleaning them. Because more often than not, the residue from the oil or from oil or glue that you use to attach these to your head can get stuck in the holes of the base. You may feel that you've cleaned it well enough, but if you look carefully on the underside, you may find some white residue that's left behind that's stuck in amongst the holes. You can see an example of this here, an example of where it hasn't been cleaned well enough. This can ultimately cause hair loss because it can damage the roots of the hair. So it's something you need to pay attention to. New Times Hair has a vast amount of industry knowledge which we are more than happy to share with you and to help your business grow.